Okay, we are ready.
Yes,
So,
boss.
first question. Who is the person who influenced your life the most?
My father, Sripad Rao Patil,
Huh.
is the person who influenced my life more.
Okay. And how did he influence your life?
He did not do anything explicitly, outwardly.
Hmm.
He lived his life in a correct way, in his own way, and he set himself as a role model. We observed him, we learned from him, and he never taught us direct lessons. I mean, he is such a wonderful father. He
Hmm.
never told anything that this is right or wrong or anything. He showed it the kind of life he lived, and he showed his displeasure only when we were wrong, very very minutely. This helped us to learn from him that there is something to be corrected in us.
Hmm. Okay.
So I can say, with all my 65 years experience, I can say many people have influenced me, like many authors, many writers, many philosophers. They have laid a lot of strong influence on my mind and my thinking. But as regards to my character building and my conduct and my understanding of life and relationships
Hmm.
and my internal persona, I can very well say, safely say that my father is a person who influenced me most because he was difficult for me to emulate.
Okay.
He was very tough for me to emulate. Hmm.
Okay. Next question.
Hmm.
What was the happiest moment of your life?
My happiest moment of my life, as far as I remember, when I became the father of my son Udayan.
Hmm.
He promoted me to the fatherhood. That was the moment I remember I was very happy.
Oh, okay. So, next question. What is your earliest memory?
My earliest memory runs back to 5 years of my age.
Hmm.
I was very timid and a very thin guy, a lot of lacking self confidence, and I was a little fragile and all that. I used to be very, not bold enough, but I did a carelessness that I fell from a step and I was punished for that. I punished in the sense that I was fired for that. You didn't take enough be careful to how to step down a step and all that. That memory stuck to me so strongly that later on I became very careful, overly careful, and never fell down. Perhaps
Hmm.
I recollect it as my first memory of my childhood.
Okay. Do you remember yourself as a 5-year-old kid? Like,
Pardon?
do you remember anything when you were a 5-year-old?
I remember this one incident, and another thing that my mother never used to come out of the kitchen. After kitchen, there is one hall.
Oh,
After that hall, there is a main hall. Only when men used to assemble there. My mother used to come up to the second hall and keep the water, jugs and all that on uh, the last halls. The partition place. She never used to come out of it. She used to cross it only when to bring water from uh, outside the village. I mean, there were village in the village. There were wells far away from 1 or 2 kilometers away from the house. She
hmm.
used to get drinking water from there. Only for that, she used to come out of that second hall.
Oh,
Otherwise, she was to be restricted within that.
oh,
That memory is there in my mind.
okay. Let's see. Did you receive an allowance as a child? How much? Did you save your money or spend it?
Pardon? Try to be clear.
So, did you like did you get any money as a child, and did you save your money or did you spend it?
Never, never.
Oh,
I remember one thing. When I was in second or third standard, I exactly do not remember. I lived in a village called Kolivada in Hubli Taluk. In
oh,
my school, a trip was arranged from Kolivada to Holealur, where there was a bridge uh, on the river. The school had decided to take the students to there. I had asked my father to allow me to go there. My father was not in a position to take a decision. He asked my grandfather. My grandfather told that such a small child, we will not send him there. The fees was only 5 rupees. With the help of 5 rupees, the school was taking me to there. And I fought for it, fought with my father, fought with my grandfather, and they ultimately agreed to pay me 5 rupees. I went to that trip, joined the trip with the students from Kolivada to Holealur with 5 rupees fee. That is one memory. Apart from this, we never have to have receive any money as a pocket money in our childhood.
hmm. Okay. Next question.
Hmm.
Um, who were your friends when you were growing up?
When I was growing up in my childhood days, there was one Mr. Murlidhar Patil. He was my close associate. We used to go to school together. And after that, there was one Mr. Venkatesh Patil. He left Koliwad and he went to Gadag or Dharwad somewhere. I missed him. There was one Shesha Purohit. He left me at sixth standard and he went to Bombay. I missed him. These are the memories of my friends in my childhood. When I joined high school at Gadag from 8th, there was one Mr. V.L. Patil.
Hmm.
He was my friend. There was one Mr. Kona and Shivpur. Two, three friends I remember.
Oh,
Copper, Parvatikar. Mm.
are you still in touch with your friends?
I am touch with my friends. I mean, with Mr. V.L. Patil, I am still in touch with him. He is my classmate from 8th.
Oh,
8 means 1968. I was just 12 years old. Now I am 65 years old. I am still in touch with him. He
oh,
is the longest state friend. Uh,
oh. Okay. Um, what was your favorite thing to do for fun?
my favorite
Thing to do for fun.
fun
Yeah.
in my childhood. Perhaps I have missed this part. I was not athletic in my childhood.
Oh,
I was not more a fun seeker. I was like a daydreamer type of boy.
oh,
I remember that my only daydream was I wanted to be a great orator.
oh,
All that. But I had hiccups that I was not good in communication. I was not capable of answering a question that what is your name with comfort. With such a background, I was daydreaming that I wanted to be a orator. Uh, Beside this, I don't think I have tried anything which gives me fun.
uh, did you like try board games that give you fun?
Pardon?
Did you try like board games for fun? Like carom?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I have not, I have not played any games, I suppose, in my childhood.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Next question.
Hmm.
What was school like for you as a child? What were your best and worst subjects? What did you eat for lunch?
In my school, I remember when you ask me this question straight, I was in first standard.
Hmm.
When the term came to an end, there was an inspection for us to perform. Inspection used to happen to promote the students from first standard to second standard. It was a small school in a
Hmm.
hall. First standard students and second standard students were assembled in the same hall. The inspector of schools came from Hubli, a taluka headquarters,
Hmm.
and he conducted a test. He conducted a test for the first year students. I was in first standard. I answered all the questions. He was happy. And he took up to the second year students. He asked many questions. Many of them were not able to answer. I raised my hand and answered few of questions of second standard. Then he turned his attention to me. He went on asking me whenever there was no response from the second standard students. I answered almost all the questions.
Oh.
What happened was he promoted me from first standard to third standard. I have
Oh.
not studied the second standard in my school
Oh.
because I answered all the test answers questions for first and second standard. I was lifted from first standard to third standard automatically
Oh.
with his recommendation. Yes,
Okay.
this is my one of the glorious moment of my childhood.
That's pretty good. Um.
Hello.
Hello. Um. Okay. Do you remember any things from your youth? Did you have like popular hairstyles or clothing?
Hairstyle, particular hairstyle. When I was young, I was following the film actor Devanand.
Oh.
I used to comb my hair. I had lot of hair on my head. I used to comb my hair like Mr. Devanand,
Oh.
then the cine artist of Bollywood. I was fashioned by his styles. I used to imitate him, put on my dresses like him with high collar dresses, and put on the hairstyle like him, and even imitate mannerisms and all that. That was one of the fascination I had in
Okay.
my younger days.
Okay. Did any of your school friends do that too?
They used to do. Some used to do Rajesh Khanna. Some used to do some other actors. That was there. Some used to do Amitabh Bachchan hairstyle. That was
Okay.
there.
How would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as a person
Hmm.
who always cared to connect the mislinks because this life is such a wonderful thing, wonderful phenomenon. God has created this world, and there are many human beings and many animals, plants, organisms that are created. Restricting ourselves to the topic of human beings have a problem of interacting
Oh.
and being comfortable with one another. They have a problem that I notice that people are not ready to accept the other person as he is or as she is,
Hmm.
but they want that they should be accepted as they are, as he is, as she is. This has stuck to me from my childhood. I am doing my best efforts to connect to it. See that everyone should make an effort to see that accept a fellow as he is, accept a girl as she is. Then only we can co-live. We
Hmm.
cannot insist on anybody that this is the way, this is the way, this is the way, unless something is very offending.
Oh.
This I have been doing from my childhood. I would like to be remembered that when we live, we can give praises, we can give help, physical assistance, financial assistance, and all that. For this, I never want to be remembered. I want to be remembered that I have made an effort to create an understanding and awareness in human beings who have co lived with me that life has to be taken as an art, it has to be dealt differently. Ultimately, we have to live with the people around us. We should have a different kind of patience. a sort of acceptability. This I have tried. Perhaps if I have to be remembered, I have to be remembered by this virtue.
Oh, okay. Okay, next question. Describe your childhood home.
Hello?
Describe your childhood home.
Describe my
Childhood home.
childhood home. My childhood home is Kolivard village. It is a type of a home built up with mud, then wood, and in my childhood there were no. I mean, the floor was of mud with a cow dung. The mud used to be washed every day, cleaned up, and that was told that it is good for health. We never had, the tiles and all that. There was no electricity. We used to have burn the kerosene lamps, and in the village also, the street lights were run by kerosene lamps. Some man from the municipality, I mean the village panchayat, used to come and put kerosene oil and lead the lamps. So my childhood days, I have studied in the with the kerosene lamp. There was all the kerosene lamp in the night, semi-dark. Only when there were functions, there was a kind of Petromax, which used to be more brighter than the kerosene lamps.
Hmm.
And when I grew up, when I reached 8th, ninth, and 10th, when I came back to villages, at that time electricity came around 1969, 70, something. Electricity came with low voltages. It used to be there for 3, 4 years. Now the things have changed in my village. There is full-fledged electricity.
Okay.
Hmm.
Next question.
Hmm.
Let's see. Did you ever go on an adventure and found something interesting?
Hmm. Like, I should say, no, I have not done any adventurous thing. I would quote you two examples. Once I had a strife in my house and I was fired. I said I'll leave home.
Oh,
They said, okay, you can leave home. I was in Gadag. I was in high school days. It was around 6:30, something like that. I left home. I walked for 3, 4 kilometers, reached the railway station, sat there for 1 or 2 hours. I wanted to leave home. I thought that I've taken a bold decision. I went there, sat for 2 hours. Many trains came and went. There was light. Then I got started fearing. I just slowly turned my back to home. I reached home at about 9:30. They gave me food and I slept. This is one small adventure, perhaps. Second is when I finished my graduation, I had applied for a bank job, and in my home, I told that my examination center is nearby place, but I had taken a very far off place in Orissa.
oh,
I gave me 150 rupees. With 150 rupees, I went to Orissa.
oh,
And by the time I reached, my money was over. I managed myself making friends there, stayed there for 3 days, completed the examination, and returned to Hyderabad. And from there, I returned to Gadag. Perhaps that journey was a little adventurous for.
oh.
Beyond this, I have not done anything adventurous.
Okay. Next
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
How was your how okay? How are your birthdays like, and what gifts would you get?
How?
Like, how were your birthdays like, and what gifts would you get?
I can say that I never celebrated my birthday in childhood, in my younger days.
Hmm.
Only when I grew up, when I started earning money, when I had a family, my family people started celebrating my family birthday. Until then, there was not a kind of birthday thing. I remember, according to the Indian calendar, My mother used to make sweets on a particular day of Indian calendar on which I was born. She used to tell that why there are sweets today because there is your birthday. Barring that, no gifts, nothing. I don't have any such experience.
Oh, okay. Next question. Did you work on a big project like a railroad or an oil job, or did you have another type of job?
I had a very commoner job, simple job.
Hmm,
When I finished my graduation, I joined as a postal clerk in the Department of Post, India Post.
hmm,
I was a counter clerk attending to the postal operations. There was nothing very risky or thrilling or anything great about it. It was just a customer service kind of job. Later on, I took up departmental examinations to get myself promoted as inspector of post offices. Then I got promoted as assistant superintendent of post offices, then as gazetted postmaster, then as superintendent of post offices, and for some time as assistant director postal services. To end with, I got an assignment as superintendent railway mail services, which
oh,
is a bridging between railway department and postal department for exchange of mails. I was a North Karnataka regional head of that system, that organization. But this was a kind of routine job, like we are humble messengers, postal department. We communicate messages from transport things and communicate messages from one person to other person. Beyond this, there was nothing thrilling about it except managing the whole issues.
hmm. Okay, next question. And this is the
Hmm.
last question. How was your
Yes, sir.
how was your first date? Were you shy or were you strong? Did you go to a restaurant or a unique place?
Pardon? How was my?
First date, were you shy
Uh,
or were you strong? Did you go to a restaurant or a unique place?
First date, I was shy. I
Hmm,
went to a restaurant along with her. There were two of her cousins. We went to a restaurant, had a breakfast. After that, they left us. I took her from Gadag to Hubli to her brother's place. There, I was semi shy, semi comfortable. Uh, then we reached Hubli and I dropped her at her brother's place. I stayed there for some hours and I got an opportunity to take her to a film, a movie. I took her to a movie. I we sat beside. I was a little shy only. We didn't talk, but in the interval of that movie, I went out and brought her a chocolate to
oh,
say that I love you. I got her a Amul chocolate
hmm.
presented to her. This is all I remember about it of my first date.
Okay, one last question.
Hmm.
Do you have a background in acting?
I have a background in acting. When I was 2 or 3 years, second or third year standard, in my village, there was some sort of drama competitions or something like that. I had done, as a child, a role of an husband. My classmate had done a role of my wife. I
Oh,
was delivering my dialogues very confidently. The moment when my father came into the hall, I just ran out of the stage. That was
what?
my background. After that, I had said quit acting. But after, in my younger days, when I came to Gadag, I completed my graduation.
Hmm,
There was an opportunity for me to join amateur theatre. In the year 1984, I joined the amateur theatre. For 20 years, I continuously acted in Kannada theatre. I did various dramas,
hmm.
including English dramas translated into Kannada, like Shakespeare's Hamlet. I played a role of Hamlet in Hamlet. I
Oh,
played the role of Iago in Othello. I did play many roles of leading characters of Indian dramatists. For 20 years, I was active in theater along with my job.
Oh, okay. Well,
And I have acted in a small role in one movie of a police inspector in one of the Kannada movie in 1986. It was
oh,
a short scene. After that, I have acted in two television series. Two of my plays were taken to Doordarshan. They were telecasted in Doordarshan.
oh.
Mm.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions. Thank you for in hel- thank you for letting me interview you. And yeah, bye bye.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Nice talking to you.
Bada boo, bada boo, bada boo.